this is something which, in a sense, is inevitable. I mean, Sachin Pilot and his MLAs had to also react to this disqualification notice. And, there's enough legal opinion on both sides to make the claim that it can actually be contested, because as we know that disqualification, there are 3 grounds. 2 are whip-based, which don't apply here because there's no assembly in session, so there's no question of a whip. The third is somewhat ambiguously defined as any activities you do outside the assembly which may be construed as anti-party activities. And the Congress has chosen to define the actions of Sachin Pilot and his supporters of not turning up for the CLP meetings, perhaps even suggesting that they're hobnobbing with the BJP as anti-party, and reasons for disqualification. Sachin Pilot and his legal team may have legitimate grounds to question that and say, look, what have we done which technically constitutes anti-party? And we are still, and in fact, some of us are still members of the Congress party. So I think we are going to see this now being fought in the courts, first in the High Court in Rajasthan, but also increasingly, as we're likely to see it, even escalate to the Supreme Court as well. And so there will definitely be a legal battle on this. This is anyway a quasi-judicial question about the question of disqualification. Courts have weighed in on this in the past as well. And we'll have to wait and see how exactly this plays out.
All right, Vasu, well, let's just see if we can get that report that Harsha was doing earlier, in which we saw the Sachin Pilot supporters actually crossing behind us. So it's all getting rather interesting, different messaging coming out outside, coming from various, sections of the Congress regarding, what their attitude towards Sachin Pilot is right now. On one hand, early this morning, we were talking about how the Gandhis were very keen to leave the door open for Sachin Pilot's return. They've asked Ashok Gehlot to actually temper down his criticism of Sachin Pilot. On the other hand, Vasu, you've been reporting about how that some quarters feel that this is just a time-buying tactic by Sachin Pilot, and that he is in fact trying to get more MLAs onto his side. As so far, he hasn't been able to show that number 30 that he has been claiming, that he has 30 MLAs who are supporting him. So far, the notices have been issued to 19 of the MLAs, and that is being challenged right now in the High Court there in Rajasthan, and it will be taken up in a short while from now at around 3 o'clock is what we're hearing. So, Vasu, what do we make of this dichotomy in the news coming out from the Congress? On the one hand, we've heard what Mr. Ashok Gehlot said yesterday about Sachin Pilot. He's made all sorts of allegations about horse trading and money being used in all of this. Sachin Pilot's camp hit back with the 2 of his supporters. They're coming out with their own videos in which they claimed that Ashok Gehlot...
Essentially, I think the question is really about whether or not Sachin Pilot genuinely wants peace, or is he still acting in tandem with the BJP. The breaking news coming in just now from our colleague Vaidyanathan has confirmed that Mukul Rohtgi, in fact, is appearing for Sachin Pilot in the Supreme Court. And this is big news. Mukul Rohtgi, as we know, has been a top legal officer under the BJP government, under the NDA. He's been Attorney General. He's going to now be representing Sachin Pilot in the Supreme Court. This is the petition that is seeking to quash the Speaker's notices sent to them of disqualification. Now, this is big news because this indicates, or this will further bolster the Congress claim that Sachin Pilot is getting some kind of backing from the BJP, the fact that Mukul Rohtgi is appearing for Sachin Pilot. And this goes back to the point that the Congress leader I was talking to earlier that you referred to made, that they believe that while on one hand Sachin is talking peace, on the other hand, he's still trying to cobble up the numbers. That extra hotel rooms have been booked in the resort in Manesar to try and get more MLAs to bolster the numbers. The fact that he's not sought any appointment with the Gandhis. The fact that he has not responded to any of the Congress's overtures. So I think this is where the situation stands now. On one hand, the Congress feeling that in quote-unquote, they're being misled by Sachin Pilot. Sachin, on the other hand, could argue that, look, if the Congress is going to be schizophrenic with me, on one hand say the doors are open, you have a wrong relationship with the Gandhis, on the other hand coming at me with disqualification notices and so on and so forth, then even I will have to act. But at the moment, the breaking news is that it is going to be Mukul Rohtgi who is appearing for Sachin Pilot. And now on the other side will be Abhishek Singhvi, who is going to appear for the Congress and for the Speaker. So in a sense, the political battle in Rajasthan has now shifted to the court, and it'll be fought there between these two lawyers, these two heavyweight lawyers, both in a sense aligned with different political parties.